Okay, I have a treat for all of you. I have Dr. Yakos, and he is a cardiologist, and I just got to hear him speak, and you had some magnificent information. We are all dealing, especially in Canada. Now I have people that watch me all over the world, but my Canadian base has been suffering and struggling because we have been forced into the vaccines. Many have lost their jobs. We had the Freedom Convoy that began standing against all of this, and you just had some information that was just amazing. I do want to ask you something kind of weird, and, because I have had questions about that. Do you believe, you kind of mentioned something about the placebos, like, do you think there has been placebos throughout the shots?
I think that's been admitted. The companies have come out and said that there are some series that are full dose regular, what they're saying they're giving.
Yeah.
Other things can be experimental, and they won't tell you what that is. Right. And other things can be placebo. There have been reports that there might even be a different vaccine going to a different state according to political leanings. Is that political? I guess it meets the definition.
Yeah.
Things that are happening, you can't really trust what's happening from a central government source because there seems to be an alternate agenda. That makes me a conspiracy theorist, and that's what it is.
Then we all are, because we're not stupid. So the thing about you understanding the heart so incredibly, what is your concern about what is happening, what you have seen happening with these vaccines, and what should people be alarmed about?
Well, I think they should be alarmed with thinking that taking a chance by taking a shot and hoping that nothing happens to them is not a normal way to think. If I want to avoid hurting a patient and I explain the risks to them, and I tell them that there's a such and such % chance that they might get hurt, they have to make that decision. So to mandate something that could potentially be harmful makes no sense to me. And to mandate something that's experimental makes no sense to me. So I would fail in my duty if I didn't explain to people what the risks are. And in the state that I came from, you could have your job threatened for doing something like that, explaining something to a patient. So that's not the way it's supposed to be. You're supposed to protect your patient. No government entity should get between you and your patient.
Was that a shocking thing? Was that an enlightening or an awakening thing when you found that doctors were literally getting in trouble for common sense, conversations, and potentially even doctors that might prescribe well-known drugs were told that they weren't allowed to? And that they were unsafe. That was like a big trigger that we're not just dealing with something usual.
When physicians were facing the same problem, they wanted to get it for themselves, and they were denied access by corporate pharmacies. That's never happened before. And the other thing is certain states have things called patient bill of rights. And in the patient bill of rights, a patient can say no to any treatment, even after it's explained to them, even after they know the risks and benefits. If the doctor wants them to get it, it's their choice. How we've gotten to the point where that patient bill of rights no longer exists is scary. We should not be here. We should not be here.
You did say certain things as well, like about informed consent, and these are very crucial things that I don't know if anybody's really had informed consent. People have no idea what a VAERS report is, never mind the thousands of deaths that are reported on those same reports.
The conversation that's usually had in order to have informed consent is not happening. And it's being happened, and when it does happen, it happens in a very superficial way. And again, the fear has been driven into the medical profession, and I think people are more concerned in the medical profession about making sure they're making money for their family. And I think other professions are facing the same problem. You have to mandate somebody who's in the finance industry that they have to take a shot in order to go into work. Where does a finance company dictate any health treatments to their employees? Why would that happen? It makes no. That should be between you and the doctor you trust who tells you what's happening out there. So we're in an upside down world right now, and we need to get back to where the doctor-patient relationship is sacred. And I think people have to learn to get information on their own. You can't just trust what's being thrown out in the news.
Yes.
And we have the ability to do that. We have Alexander's library right at their fingertips on a phone, on a computer. Get out there, research, trust, but verify. And people have to stop being lazy about their medical information.
Right. Could I ask you, as a cardiologist, if somebody's considering right now, like maybe in Canada, they want to fly. Like, we're not allowed to fly. We're not even allowed to fly in America. If you're a Canadian and you come over the border and you happen to get through a border guard, we're not allowed to fly here. They'll let other people on, but they're not letting Canadians on the planes. So somebody's very tempted that they want to get this shot. What do you advise to that person? Or if they're ready to get a booster, what do you say?
Don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. So health is everything. If you can't travel next year because of a decision that you made this year, was that a wise decision? It's not wise to just do things because you think it's more convenient. Make the appropriate health decisions and realize you're being coerced for a reason. It's not good for you, and they want you to not think about that part.
Yes, sir. And where could people follow you? They will want to know where to. Are you on Twitter or?
I'm on Facebook, so they can find me under my name. I have an integrative cardiology practice. It's called WPR Medical.
Okay.
And I try to do a weekly, I guess it's sort of a weekly live class where I take on medical questions. I do that every Tuesday or Wednesday. I usually announce it.
Final question. How have you handled the probably inevitable sort of targeting that happens to anyone like yourself who speaks out?
Honestly, the only targeting I faced was when I decided that when the mandates came down that I had to get the shot or get PCR tested. My decision was never to get PCR tested, and because I was never going to get the vaccine. So aside from that, I came to a state that understands what health freedom is about, and even inside the state, you have to find specific places you can go to that understand that concept. So you need to move on and find like-minded people.
So you moved to Florida.
Yeah, I moved to Florida.
A lot of people move into Florida.
Yeah. That's
Still
because
nice
it's
place.
the same thing to do at this point.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you, Governor
Okay.
DeSantis, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And thank you, sir.
Thank you.
It's a privilege. Thank you.